Are they tall enough, Keith?
They're tall
A
enough.
little bit more to your left, ladies. Maybe a little bit more to your left.
More to your left?
Yeah, up a step too.
Okay, watch out, there's a water over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want her to smack her.
If it falls over, it'll only hit John.
Hey, we need him still, Bob. Not yet.
Right on. There you go.
Ladies?
Oh, come on, camera, cooperate. There we go.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
My name is Debbie Shultz-Giffin. I'm from Nova Scotia. I became involved in cannabis activism about 14 years ago, primarily because my husband and I had been busted for cultivation of cannabis and charged, and my husband went to court and pled guilty for producing cannabis, which was to be my medicine. At that point, we thought it was the quickest, easiest solution to end all of the grief and misery, and in fact, it certainly wasn't. It caused us nothing but grief. As I proceeded through the medical cannabis program, he wasn't allowed to be my designated grower, which encouraged me to become involved in the Hitzig case in 2003. It also encouraged me to go on with other people in Nova Scotia, other medical activists, to form a registered not-for-profit Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana Society. And we educate about the relative safety of cannabis as medicine. We advocate for patients, and we also lobby with various levels of government, municipal, provincial, and federal. Most recently, we've worked on a pre-election survey that has been released to the provincial parties in Nova Scotia, and we're awaiting their responses on 5 questions as to basically how would look at treating cannabis patients in light of the upcoming federal regulations. Whether they would be prepared to relax the law as far as prosecuting patients go, and how they will handle us as far as being able to provide access so that patients will be able to afford their medicine, because a lot of cannabis patients are on low fixed incomes, and even those who are on are on a more middle income range will be seriously affected when it comes to being able to afford their medical cannabis. We were also involved with working with Megan Leslie to try to change the provincial government's mind as far as providing medicine for patients who were on community assistance. And one patient in Nova Scotia was successful in getting that approved before the province shut the door on that for all patients on low fixed income, unfortunately. So we're back to battling that again. But through that process, we had the wonderful opportunity of working with Megan Leslie, who some of you may know now as an NDP, the Halifax NDP MP in the House of Commons, who we've certainly educated as far as medical cannabis goes and the issues that patients are facing. So we've been involved in doing a number of things over a 10-year span, and as I said, we're registered as a not-for-profit. Will be now for 10 years in October. But through that, I came to gain an understanding that cannabis is medicine. It's important for patients to have access, but it's a much broader issue with much broader implications for everyone. Everyone knows someone who consumes cannabis on some level or another, and the impact of that really hit me one day when I was leaving the post office, and I ran into a United Church minister. I will profess I'm not normally a religious type, but I had dealings with her when my mom was buried through the United Church at my mom's request. This minister was so tight-laced that at the very last minute I was within a hair of pulling my mother's funeral out of her church. I had no warm, fuzzy feelings when I saw this lady, and she suddenly started to talk to me and became really bubbly and animated, and I'm thinking, what gives here? And she said, I've been wanting to let you know that I'm more than aware of your campaign, was how she put it. And during the course of the conversation, the issue of accessibility came up several times in that conversation, because she had a friend who has Huntington's disease, who was trying to access cannabis to treat the symptoms of the disease. So she had a full grasp on the issues of accessibility for patients and used the words "damn ridiculous" several times in the conversation. And for that woman with her strict belief system, just the use of those two words to me really impacted on her passion, and someone just walking down the street and looking at her and knowing who she was, certainly it really struck me how much support there is in society for patients, and I think as well for, we know the statistics, for people who would like to consume cannabis socially as well. And knowing the far-reaching tentacles of prohibition, the way that it affects families' lives, splits people apart, and money certainly going in the wrong area in my mind, when there's over $1 billion spent annually trying to maintain prohibition, while there are children going to school hungry, while there are children not receiving proper education, and our health care is seriously suffering. To me, it just sends the wrong message about what's really important in society. So because of that, and meeting Kelly a couple of years ago when she came to Halifax with Boris to do one of the NORML, resolving prohibition tours across Canada, I decided to become involved with NORML Women's Alliance of Canada, and have been now for about 1.5 years.
Okay. I also wanted to sort of give you a little bit of a backgrounder. I've been involved in this, I guess, for 14 years. Due to some people, ironically, like at Talk TV and that kind of thing, and I started, like a lot of those guys way back when actually brought me through some really awful stuff that was going on in our life. And I realized the way, because of the internet, what a great medium we had to get the message out. So we actually started our own channel and started our, called Urban Grower, Urban Ramo. And then we started traveling around to different, it wasn't just about growing weed or anything like that, but it was about going to events and seeing what was going on in the world. And so I started seeing the views that we got. We're at, I think it was, we're over 30 million views and 90,000 subscribers. So I thought, wow, we have our own media happening here. And some of the stories that we've done, like we've done stories on Rick Simpson, have actually been picked up, and actually they took snippets of our YouTube videos and put it on the news as if it was them doing it, and they don't have to give anybody credit, right? So I thought, what a great opportunity. So I thought, wow, what can I do, right? So I started seeing I have a venue to get stuff, message out. So always, whenever we get an opportunity to go to different events, or people say, hey, can you come here? We want to promote their event. So the same with, being able to do this. So that's why I got involved with the NORML Women's Alliance, is getting out our message. I believe in legalization for everybody. Of course, I support the medical community. Obviously, I believe in that, but I believe that it's legal for everyone. Even though I'm a non-consumer, I think it's really important for people to understand that we need legalization for all, but not just not just here in British Columbia, not just in Canada, but around the world, especially in places like, what's going on in Mexico is absolutely atrocious, and we need to support everyone and work together on the same page. So, we're going to start with what we've done, and so again, I want to say thank you very much for inviting us out here, and we really appreciate it. So we want to know what we've done in the past. We want to show you, let you know what we've done in the past 6 months.
We have some bullet points so that between us we're sure to cover all of our points here. And thank you, Bob. Because of you, we've been able to create some infrastructure. The website with nation building is in place and certainly needs some more work. But it is in place, and we're able to keep track of people who are interested in becoming members and further contributing to the cause. We've also been able to create information packages, giving talking points to other women who never had the courage before to step forward and talk to their MP or any politician on any level about their concerns about cannabis, so that they could have something to review and go over ideas on how to proceed and follow up and that sort of thing for people who would really like to do it but just don't know quite how to proceed. And it's complete with talking points. We've been able to provide NORML Women's Alliance banners for women across the country. I know Sandra's had one for the Global Marijuana March, I believe, and I was able to have one in Nova Scotia for our 420 event and the Global Marijuana Rally as well, and I put it up on Cannabis Day to boot. We've also launched a green pin campaign. I have one on. It's just a small, inconspicuous, round green circle. They come trimmed in gold or silver, and it's just a very inconspicuous way of saying that you support the cannabis conversation and you support legalization, so that when you see someone else wearing one, you know that it's someone who thinks in a similar way that you do. It's sort of a secret handshake. We've also been able to have meetings with approximately 20 MPs across the country to talk to them about our concerns about the current cannabis laws and how we feel legalization is the only sensible way to proceed, as well as 3 different senators. We've been able to participate in panels with politicians and colleagues at expos like the Treating Yourself Expo and as well the Health Expo in Vancouver. We've increased a social media presence through both Facebook and Twitter, where things are being posted pretty much on a daily basis to keep followers up to date on the current issues and what's going on in the country. And most recently, NORML Women's Alliance of Canada have gained international recognition because of meeting with Justin Trudeau and his admission in the Huffington Post that he consumed cannabis, and that NORML Women's Alliance of Canada played a crucial role in changing his mind from supporting decriminalization to promoting legalization in the media, which has certainly, as you're all well aware, caused a wildfire across the country. We've had many women speaking and organizing 420s across the country. I know I was the organizer in Nova Scotia. Kelly organized in Ottawa. Jade organized in Winnipeg. Kim organized in Yellowknife. And am I missing anyone?
I was
but
just speaking
speakers.
Sorry,
Yes.
Vancouver.
Yes.
Tamara spoke.
Yes,
Sandra
Tamara
spoke.
spoke, yeah.
Yes. And all of our community leaders who weren't actively involved with organizing one of these events were speaking at them or hoping to speak at them. And also, we've participated and been a presence in the Toronto Pride, the Toronto Global Marijuana March, the Vancouver Global Marijuana March, and the Halifax Global Marijuana March.
So as well, we've been invited to participate in the Liberal Women's Caucus meeting. Published 3 editorials in the Hill Times. We've been doing union screenings across Canada and Quebec. The next one will be is in Alberta, upcoming. And also, my husband and I are co-executive producers on the new Culture High coming out. So we'll be doing screenings of that and getting that set up ready to come across Canada as well. So we've also increased support in community for community leaders, and what we're trying to do is, okay, I'm a community leader right now, but we're going to get like Victoria. We want a community leader for every community, and so we need to build on that so that we can start having meetings on a regular basis and get it really out there. We're adding community leaders in Vancouver, Saskatchewan, Quebec, and of course we've got a new campaign that will be coming up, Because I'm a Mom. Is what we're working on as well. And then our vision basically is we're creating a unified strategic campaign to get the 2015 vote out with members in every riding across the country. As well, campaigning, working with NORML Canada in Ottawa, working on, obviously, our biggest thing, or for me in British Columbia, is working with Sensible BC over the next 3 months and going to areas where he needs us to go. Because there's going to be an issue with a lack of, some communities. I actually looked today, and there's some like Fort Langley that has no person at all involved. But I do know people in that area, so we can
send them our way. Then
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
trying to fill in all those little gaps.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that all the gaps are, filled out that way. And so that's what we're, up to for the next few months. Actually, in November, there's a big trade show in Vancouver that is coming up. That is actually a health expo. Has nothing to do with cannabis. It's at all. It's at the Vancouver Trade and Convention Center. So we definitely want to make a presence there. And there's another one coming up in February. And these are big events. There's usually 30,000-40,000 people that are there. So we want to really go set up there. Actually, at the one in November, I think we could actually take signatures at that would be.
Yep, to the end of November, basically. So
There's also some trade shows coming up in Toronto as well that we're going to try and attend also. The trade shows are very mainstream, and that works really well with the NORML Women's Alliance, especially women's shows. These are costly events.
Yeah.
They're very costly events, so we have to, consider, where do we get the most bang for our buck?
In our industry, like for example, we've donated booths, right? But when you're going to a mainstream show, the most discount that they'll give you is like a 20%, 25% discount. I think I saw one that was 30%. I'm like, really? That's all you're getting, for a nonprofit? So it's kind of sad, but unfortunately, some of these we've seen anywhere ranging from $500 to $1,500, even for a small booth like a 6x10. So that's kind of the should be a direction because it's lots of people there and just getting the message out, banners and people talking.
And if I could just add one thing, first of all, thank you, Bob, for helping us. You came along right at the exact right time because honestly, prior to your funding, we were spending 75% of our time raising money to do the campaigns that we wanted to run. And now all we're doing is working. So we want to thank you for that because you're not just supporting one organization, you're supporting a movement across the country from some extremely passionate women, who have been waiting their lives for this time. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're
Yay.
All right.
All right.
yeah. Good job, ladies.
Put it on, ladies.